Okay, what's happening? What's happening? So as you can see, we know England, we know Ireland and Iberia is pretty much one and the same, right? Which is ruled by different principalities, right? Such as the Spanish, right, or the Portuguese. So anyway, we got 302 BC to 580 AD, right? And we understand, we see that there is no English. This is not English right here, y'all. Shouts out to King Jefferson, right, King of England and his queen, and to the Third English Temple Church, man. Shouts out to y'all, man. Without y'all, man, I wouldn't even be able to continue this research that I've been doing, man. But anyway, so we got 302 BC to 580 AD. So remember, we Berbers, right? We could be English, ancient Syrians, English, ancient English, Egyptians, you know, Berbers, however you want to put it. So in order for us to get to 302 BC, right, we got to get to 649, right? 649 BC. In 649 BC, the pharaoh that's ruling is Psamtik the First. And as you see right here, we got 302 BC, y'all. 302 BC, y'all. The Berber calendar, right? So let's click on Psamtik the First real fast. Psamtik the First was the first pharaoh of the 26th dynasty of Egypt, the Setu period, ruler from the city of Sais in the Nile Delta between 664 and 610 BC. He was installed by Ashurbanipal of the Neo-Assyrian Empire against the Kushite rulers of the 25th dynasty, right? So let's click on Ashurbanipal real quick so we can get a better understanding of who he is. Meaning Ashur is the creator of the ears, was the king of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. He is generally remembered as the last greatest king of Assyria, right? Okay. Okay. So let's go back, right? And let's go to Sasa. Go to Sasa, right? Scroll down, you see? We got the Olmec symbol, y'all. There you go right there. The Olmec symbol, y'all, right? But just to go back to Psamtik real quick, let's see something out. Let's just check something out real fast.
This is one of the more battered Olmec heads. This has been compared to the face on the Sphinx by various people.
Okay, so you see, had to go back and show y'all the Sphinx real fast, right? So going back to Ashurbanipal, as you see, right? We just left from him, right? The house he's from is Sargonid dynasty, right? Okay, so let's go back. Let's go down real quick. Let's get a little bit of history. A little bit, okay. In 671 BCE, the Syrian king Ashur-haddon invaded Egypt. This invasion was directly against the Kushite rulers of the 25th dynasty of Egypt, right? Who had been in control of Upper Egypt rather than against the native Egyptian rulers, right? The Assyrians created administration relying on local Egyptian rulers, right? Okay. Ruling order, okay. They also formed alliance with the rulers of the city of Sasa, Nacho the First, right? Okay. Now you see, we got Memphis, right? We got take Memphis, right? Okay. The battle of his son Psamtik, right, fled to Assyria. Okay, just want to say that real quick. Okay, anyway, let's go to Sasa again, real quick. Excuse me. Okay, you see the Olmec symbol right there, right? Okay. Let's see, y'all. Now I know a lot of Aboriginals be claiming Athenians, right? So let's go right here. Diodorus recounts that Athenians built Sasa before the deluge, because we know the deluge go back right here, look, to the first dynasty of Egypt, right? And we know when you're talking about the first dynasty, you're talking about the Sumerians, right? And you see you got a Sasa 1 period and you got the Sasa 2 period, right? Okay, let's go back to Psamtik. Now, go back here, 580 AD, right? So it's 580 AD, let's go here. Okay, Berber, 1530 Berber calendar, right? 1530 Berber calendar, 1530 BC, right? So let's go to 1530, right? So take us to, see, 1530, boom, Henry VIII. But we also know, right, that there ain't no 1580 BC, right? But we know that they talking about the English calendar. And to understand that, you got to go back to William the Conqueror. But I don't want to get y'all confused. So anyway, we left him for this 1530 AD, and it takes us to Henry VIII. Let's go to him, right? You see, King of England, Lord King of Ireland, right? The House of Tudors, right? His father, Henry VII, right, was King of England, Lord of Ireland from his seizure, y'all, from his seizure of the crown in 1485, right? So we know that you're talking about the Egyptians, and you're talking about Assyria, right? So you got what? Ireland and England. You see what I'm saying? You got the Anglo and the Saxons. But, you know, don't want to confuse y'all, right? And you know, that was in 1485 when he captured the crown. Right? And that was the fall of the Plantagenet, which is our house. All right?
Allow them to leave the seven caves and march back. And with that, it's like, you know, the medieval war between France and England. And the English bowmen with their great yew bows gave them victory.
So, I mean, as y'all heard her say, she said it reminds her of that war with England and France, right? When the English won the battle, right? Which is against the Franks, right? So I want you to understand something. The Mayans didn't come in until the 1200s AD, right? So as you see, you got 250, right? So that's when they found it, 250 to 1697. So let's click on 250. Now, as you see, it ain't no 250. That's the Gregorian year. Is when it was, you know, created within that artificial calendar, right? Which is 250, right? But we know the Gregorian calendar is false. It didn't come until the 16th century, right? So Berber year, we got what? 1200. Let's go to 1200. Let's see who won 1200. 1200, let's see. King John of England, right? Was King of England from 1199 until his death in 1216. He lost the Duchy of Normandy and most of his other French lands to King Philip II of France, resulting in the collapse of the Angevin Empire, right? Okay, let's click on Angevin Empire real quick. Let's see. 13th century, when they ruled over an area covering roughly half of France, all of England, and parts of Ireland and Wales. Okay? Against Philip II of France, right? Now became King of France, right? Y'all see? From the House of Capet, as you can see. Now, you go here, you got the Plantagenet, you got the Capitan and Plantagenet rivalry, right? As you see, the Capitan-Plantagenet rivalry was a series of conflicts and disputes that covered a period of 100 years, 1159 to 1259, during which the House of Capet, rulers of the Kingdom of France, fought the House of Plantagenet, also known as the House of Anjou, rulers of the Kingdom of England, over the Plantagenet Hill and Angevin Empire. So I want you to understand that she was referring to this war, right? Because when you look at, you know, the paintings of the Mayans, you know, the paintings that was on the screen that, you know, while she was talking, that's all made later, after they done took over the narratives and then created the Mayans, the Olmecs, the Toltecs. Those are not the real names. They made those names. They created those names, right, to hide the true identity of the people. So I want y'all to understand that.
Can we take a closer look?
So I want y'all to understand something. It ain't no Mayans going back to that time. The Mayans came in the 1200s. The people they talking about are Olmecs. But this is them trying to hide the identity and give it to some people they created, right, which would be the Mayans, because the Mayans came in the 1200s. You see what I'm saying? So remember, he's going to say Mayans, but they're not the Mayans. They're the Olmecs. The Mayans came later. The Mayans are now taking over the history, right, of the people that was previously there, the people that they invaded, which we know goes back to the Franks in the 1200s when they invaded King John of England. So I want y'all to understand that.
Let's go.
This is why he's saying Mayans. You see? He don't want to go before the Mayans or who the Mayans invaded, which is us.
We got mounds in Minnesota, but I haven't seen any this big. Wow.
About 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I see at least 1, 2,
4 or
3.
5 levels.
Even maybe a fifth one up there. This is cool as hell.
Like, there's a site called Xochitecatl in Mexico, and it's the only other place in North America or Central America that has a spiral mound exactly like this, where you follow the spiral to the top. Not
See
only
what I'm
that,
saying? They couldn't tell us it was the Olmecs, y'all. You see? Because we know the Olmec statues look like niggas. You see what I'm saying? So they had to say the Mayans.
laid out exactly like the mound site here, with the spiral mound on one end and the square mound on the other. This mound, the Creek Indians said this is where they perform their snake dance. And so they marched in procession around the mound until
Now understand, we ain't no creeks, we ain't none of that shit, y'all. That shit was created later on to hide the identity of the people. I want y'all to understand that.
they reached the top for their ceremony. There was also Lake Okeechobee. Now, when the Spanish came to Lake Okeechobee, they found 3 people living around that lake. The
Now
Maya.
stop. I want you to understand, when the Spanish came, they talking about Hernando de Soto is who they talking about. That was way after the 1200s. You see what I'm saying? And this is them rewriting the history. Because the Mayans really don't come into the 1200s, but we know the Mayans are really the Franks.
The Mayaka, and the Maya Yuaki. So 3 people calling themselves Maya.
Is there also maybe a connection to Miami?
Absolutely.
This is really incredible. I had no idea that there would be a spiral mound here. We have spiral mounds.
So there you go, the connection right there, fam. The connection right there.
An old Florida map.
Welcome. This is an old Florida map, and just keep in mind, everybody in other states that don't like Florida, you guys were Florida. Like,
Now remember, look how big Florida is, y'all. It wasn't just in that one little spot on the peninsula. It was damn near the whole thing. But understand, Florida is just code name. It's another name they created to hide the actual name of the landmass.
look at that, Florida Struts.
And it actually goes back to the pyramid and matter of fact, let me not discuss that. Let me make another video on that.
All the way. You can see in the upper right hand corner it says Virginia, and then you can see Carolina. Georgia didn't exist. Louisiana, Mississippi, nothing exists. This is an ancient map. What I want to look at is in the corner, look at those Native Americans. It says T. American, Florida, from Fernand de Soro. This is a map created by this dude, right? And so I always have this question because history doesn't have this in schools. You don't see maps like this. And it's pretty cool to find something sweet like this. They're all over. And I'm like, well, how did black people get everywhere in America? Like, did we just escape from the chains and just run to all different states in America? I just always wondered that question. And now I'm starting to think and ask a little bit more questions. Like, what is a black person? Like, what is an African American? Because I see brown people in this picture standing and holding feathers and arrows, which are Native Americans. You could say Seminoles, but look how big the state of Florida is. And look at all these different tribes that are on here.
Now remember, she said the Bone Earls, remember? The English Bowmans? You see what I'm saying?
That's phenomenal. So what if we were already there? Isn't it a little bit easier to enslave the natives that you're warring with in Georgia? Isn't it easier to conquer all the Apache Indians and enslave them instead of going to Africa and bringing ships over? Because we know they were enslaved because, the wars. And you know that millions of them died. What about millions of them being enslaved? It says some were enslaved. What about the Indians raiding the colonies because they're trying to free their brothers and sisters? Like, where is that history? The French and Indian Wars does a great talk about it, but you don't realize.
So remember, she said French and Indian Wars, right? Now we go back to the 1200s. What would it have been, y'all? It would have been the Anglo-French Wars. You follow what I'm saying? Because now we in another timeline. Now they done reconstructed everything.
They're actually brown people. This map shows brown people. So we were already here and not from Africa.
found
you
in San
go.
Lorenzo, supposedly a
They
representation
go
of a
to sign,
great
they go to
fish
symbol.
with a cross
England
in the
symbol.
centre of it.